Hello, welcome to another edition of the Aria Sonic YouTube channel, an edition of Jazz Nerds, and today we're excited to give you a new review on a new jazz record, which we're going to be emphasizing here on this channel.
That's right, that's what this channel is all about. We are reviewing new jazz albums many of you have never heard of. And we're taking a deep dive into these, and this is no exception. So please subscribe, and we want to do a lot more of these for you.
Yeah, we want, I think this is a big neglected area of jazz music, and this is the new people that are making new jazz, and everybody's going back, and there's nothing wrong with going back and listening to all these reissues and all these old Blue Note stuff. They're some of my favorites. But while everybody's going back and listening to these old records, which is great, a lot of these new people are being completely ignored or not even heard about. So I think that's really what we want to emphasize.
They're breaking new ground in jazz, and as jazz fans, we should be aware of all different styles from performers all around the world. And that's what I love about Tineke. She's from Holland, right, Matt? She's Dutch, yeah, a Dutch artist who I'd never heard of.
I haven't either.
Yeah, just a fascinating story with her. And Matt, you're going to talk a little about like who she is, where she came from, how she got her start.
Yeah, so Tineke is a Dutch saxophone player. She was born in 1978, and she has played with a lot of people. She's a big Wayne Shorter fan. And so for those of you out there who know Wayne Shorter can kind of get out there into space a little bit, but is also very philosophical. And I thought that kind of came through on this record as well.
Yeah, it definitely has a deep meaning behind all the songs. There's a lot of self-reflection, introspection, the melodies, the harmonies. It's a journey within to get us to a journey without, I think. And ultimately, I get the sense that Tineke is one of those people who, throws about a good worldly vibe. You know what I mean? She just seems well-versed in music, and she's really a craftswoman. And I really enjoyed this album. I was blown away with it, frankly.
This is definitely music that you have to sit down and intend to listen to. I mean, I listened to this thing over the past week about at least 10 times all the way through. Driving it back and forth from work.
It requires multiple listens, for sure.
Especially if you grew up in the West like us, where you listen to a lot of rock music or the basic jazz stuff. This can be a bit intense, but it's well rewarding.
It's worth it. I'm a head bopper, I'm a snapper, I'm a foot stomper, you know that? Like, I like my swing. So it took a few listens to just chill and listen to it and get the vibe of the music, but you can feel this vibe.
Yep. Now, Tineke, that's how you pronounce her name. She decided to play jazz very early. She listened to her parents' collection. She references Miles Davis around midnight. She started playing around 11 years old. She graduated from the Conservatory of Amsterdam, and she received a master's degree. She also studied at the Manhattan School of Music. And she also received an award, which is one of the most prestigious awards in Holland, which is called the Boy Edgar Prize.
Okay.
Now, she's played with a lot of people, and people you may have heard, like Kenny Barron, Terry Lynn Carrington, great female drummer.
Incredible drummer.
Esperanza Spalding, Diane Reeves, Jimmy Cobb, the list goes on. She's played with a lot of people.
Wow.
She appears on 2 Grammy awarded albums by Terry Lynn Carrington and Diane Reeves. Again, she's a big Wayne Shorter fan. She's played with him on stage several times.
Yeah.
So that's her main influence.
Okay.
Now, during the pandemic, I guess she really says, I'm going to just read a quick quote about her studies and how she kind of went into playing standards, which is interesting because she said that she wanted to learn, especially from Charlie Parker. So she says, during the pandemic, in this period, I'm practicing a lot of standards. This will always be the backbone of my playing. I work on finding answers on how I can relate on a deeper level to the tradition, but yet also being personal. I've been listening to a lot of Charlie Parker and tried to learn more from his rhythmic approach, feel, and phrasing. I need to create a sound. I often think of colors. What colors is for a painter is sound for a musician.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
She's done 9 records of her own. And the new album, Aria, which I have on CD as well. Now, if you go to look for this, be aware the CD has 11 tracks on it, while the album, while it is a beautiful blue, only contains 8 songs, so be aware of that. And I would tell Edition Records, if you're going to do that, put the CD in there and charge me a couple more bucks.
There you go.
So that's my criticism.
It's Aria, and what is that? That means, well, in Italian,
The Aria?
it's air, right? It means
Air.
air, and it's a term used in opera for a solo performance. We know Tineke was inspired by the great opera singer Maria Callas.
Which I found interesting.
Yeah, I had to go in and listen to some of that to figure this out. And yeah, you start to see these beautiful melodies, the lyrical style, and the emotion that's brought to the music. But yeah, that's what inspired this album. And there's a sense of space, there's a sense of beauty, and there's a sense of melody all working together here.
And you've got four performers on this. You have Tineke,
Yeah, talk a little about those.
Ben
Yeah.
Monder, who is the guitar player, Robert Lanferman on the bass, and then you've got the drummer, who is Tristan Renfro. Now, I'll give you a little bit of background quickly on these guys. But Ben Monder's been playing for quite a while. He's was born in 1962, a New Yorker, but he's played on over 200 albums as a sideman. So,
Oh, wow,
and that's even on David Bowie's last album, he played on that.
Oh, that's
So
incredible.
he's played with a ton of people, not just jazz. And he said that he grew up listening to rock music, ironically.
Yeah.
And didn't get into jazz until later on. But he attended the Westchester Conservatory of Music, the University of Miami, and Queens College. So that's kind of where he comes from. Robert Lanferman, he was born in 82, and he played the double bass. And he actually teaches at the University of Music in Cologne. So that's
very good, a European figure. Yeah.
And then there wasn't a whole lot of information on Tristan, but apparently he's worked with her for quite a bit and
Yeah, he's
helped
done a lot
produce
of
this
these
record.
albums. Yeah, an incredible player. I mean, just he's got kind of a Dave Weckl style, very contemporary, very technical, smooth too.
Now, Downbeat gives this a 4-star rating, which is pretty high, and it says the Downbeat review quickly says Dutch saxophonist Tineke Postman's Aria in many things, starting with listening pleasure. It's open and airy. The album is neither simple nor extremely difficult, but instead original, inviting, and rewarded of repeated listening. And I definitely agree with that.
Agree with that assessment. That's spot on.
All right, now what are your initial thoughts on the album?
Yeah, so I was moved by it in a lot of unexpected ways. I found it. I like to listen to music when I'm working, right? And I found this somewhat like classical, just help me zero in, help me focus. And then it brought me to some interesting places as well. You know, I think part of this album is about a journey within, and when you really listen, you're forced to find that emotion she might be going for, whether it's isolation, whether there's a lot of it about warmth, love. It feels uplifting,
A lot of
colorful.
contrasting moods.
Yeah, which I found very interesting, which made it fun to listen to go from song to song and see which moods they were going off with. And that's something that I know you noted in all the songs, and are going to talk a little about, like what was that mood that each one hit.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll talk about that. So my initial thoughts were it definitely requires attentive listening, repeated listenings, but there's much to be gained by listening to it. It requires, to me, it's not, it can be background music, you can have it on, but you're not going to get as much out of it just by having it playing while you're doing stuff around the house. You really need to sit down and pay attention to it in order to really get the most out of it, because a lot of stuff going on here, and I didn't even pick up. I listened to the thing 3 times before I really started to pick up on what was going on. So that just kind of gives you an idea.
Right.
Now, I thought the guitar player, Monder, I thought he added a lot. It meant a lot to the record.
With that distorted
Yeah.
guitar,
Yeah,
I wasn't
it's-
expecting that.
Yeah. So you've got 11 songs on the record. Again, if you get the album, there's only going to be 8 on there, so be aware of that. The first song is called Sankalpa. Now, apparently this means it's from Sanskrit. Sanskrit is what,
Yep.
and it means setting an intention.
That's right. And then she explains, I'll quote her here. I wrote the bass line first, which was spontaneous, and it turned out to be kind of a 9/8. Then on top, I wrote the melody and started adding a 3/8 figure on top for the guitar, and added a more easygoing bridge. So you can tell that this is very charted, very planned, very intentional. Yet the thing that is amazing, she allows space for improvisation. You know,
Yeah.
so that amazed me from the start.
Yeah, so I thought it's up tempo. I thought this one you have a lot of clean guitar. So you have an upbeat melody, the sax comes in, you have a clean guitar, the bass and drums start to kind of amp things up a little bit. And then it kind of gets chaotic there for a little bit, where the electric guitar comes in, that kind of stretches the limits, and kind of stretches your mind and gives you a contrast of melody and chaos. That's kind of
That's
what kind of
the perfect summary right
and
there.
the mood I got is kind of like you're skipping along outside. You got that up tempo. Things are going along, and all of a sudden this alien spaceship cruises over and then starts attacking, and then chaos starts going on, and you're like running through the streets, and all of a sudden whoo, that thing is gone, and it kind of settles back out to where.
I love
that's
that
kind of
vivid
what I got.
imagination, my friend. That's brilliant. That's real good.
So that's kind of what the mood for that one was for me.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect summary. Well, let's go into Frida. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yep, another 5-minute song.
Another 5 minutes. I thought this was more relaxing, smooth,
Mellow intro.
Yeah, soothing, fusiony, experimental, chill, slow, complex modern jazz. I like how her sax playing was in sync with the guitar, and the drums followed along with the bass. This is just good music I found for a little bit of light wine, a little bit of chilling.
Yeah, definitely complete change of mood on this one.
Yeah, night to day.
You've
That's
got
right.
the saxophone kind of taking center stage. You got a clean guitar that comes in with some nice tasty runs and some counterpoint to the bass. I heard going on, and then there's some nice interplay between the sax and the clean guitar, and there's some good improvisational things going on with the saxophone too. And that I thought the guitar was really beautiful on this one. Very.
Yeah.
And the mood that I got on this one was just walking along a lake at dusk. Just,
Right. Just taking a little moment. Yeah. Enjoying the finer things of life.
Yeah.
The sky is everywhere.
A little over 4 minutes.
Yeah, here the moods shift back and forth, and this one I found the rhythm was a bit jolting. It's a medium tempo, but just full of frenzied movements, rapid sax fills, drum fills, distorted guitar riffs, flurries of movement on tom, snare,
a lot of stuff going
rims,
on.
a lot going on, and to me this was probably the most complex of the songs.
Yeah, I thought that I kind of wrote down there was an interesting, disconcerting melody that and then the guitar comes in and adds this mysterious aura is the best way I can explain it. And then the drums come in, the sax, the distorted guitar on this one again. And I kind of, what I kind of put down was it was a suspenseful tapestry being weaved here.
Did the aliens come again? Because I thought they could have in this
But,
one.
well, I put the mood on this one was the feeling of being watched or spied upon.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
right. There's a little bit of discomfort with it. Keeps us on our toes. Still another day, right? Is that what we
Yep,
have next?
that's the
Okay,
next
yeah,
one.
yeah. And then
4.5 minutes.
again, back and forth. This one's a little bit more chill. Slow guitar intro, very simple, few chords. I love how the sax and the bass weave together here and just build off each other. I thought that was really interesting. You get the sense they've played together, they listen to each other, and that allows for some experimentation. This was just a nice chill
It was
song.
chill out
Yeah.
and a lot of back and forth playing off one another. I like the reverby guitar and the mood I got off this one was contemplative, reflective, walking down the street at night, reflecting on life.
Yeah.
Reflecting on, that kind of.
Right. Lion's Roar. Okay.
I really like this one.
Yeah, this one was fun. It felt a bit primitive, almost tribal, wild, rapidly moving bass lines, distorted guitar riffs, quick running sax runs. And again, just love how they feed off each other, and just a really interesting composition.
Yeah, it's just under 4 minutes. The guitar and bass set up where it appears to be this intense situation developing is kind of what I gathered from it. And then the saxophone kind of comes in over the drums, and this distorted guitar again comes in, and it's kind of like the mood that I got on this one was like you're being tracked by a lion in the African safari.
That's good. You're at the campfire, and then you're hearing some sounds in the background. You're like, uh-oh, you're seeing the tiger eyes, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm being tracked like
Watch
the
out.
lions. So yeah, that's a fun. I liked it a lot.
It was, the funnest one on here, I thought.
Vibe shift. This was an interesting one. Over 6 minutes long. And
yeah.
This one, the drums and the sax lead this one off. The melody I thought was very dissonant. It was not easy to follow. But the mood that it creates is a mood of uncertainty for me. And the bass and the drums here, there's a lot of interplay back and forth between this.
Right, really light playing, but busy but light.
Yeah, and so there's a real intense improvisational drum solo on this one where he really gets into it. And this is probably one of the hardest ones I thought to kind of get into. But the mood on this one, I'll give you the mood on what I got from this one. It's like you're standing on the side of the road and a van pulls up and puts a pillowcase over your head and then drags you into the van and then drives you down somewhere that you don't know where you're at and then throws you out in the street and you take the pillowcase off and you don't know where you are.
Dude, that happened to some of my friends in New Orleans for when they pledged for a fraternity. Yeah, they'd get them drunk, put them in the back of a U-Haul, drop them off in the worst spots in New Orleans, and they'd have to make their way back. That's it. That's a good analogy. Vibe shift. Yeah, that's what it is.
All right, next.
Idle for Elemis.
Just over 4 minutes.
Over 4 minutes. This was another slow, ballady one. Melodies on the intro. I thought it was slightly mysterious. Like, maybe you're sensing that alien ship in the background. I don't know. And you're like, is that an alien or a shooting star? But this was one I thought was a good one for studying, for focusing.
The big choral guitar.
Meditative.
Yes. I like the guitar sound on this one. The big kind of a choral sounding guitar. Kind of a late night melodic vibe. The clean guitar interplay with the bass kind of caught my attention. And so it's pretty mellow tune, but for me, the mood on this one was kind of sipping my scotch on the back porch with a cigar. That's kind of what I had on this one.
Yes, yeah, that's well said, my friend. Hymn for Hestia, right? And this was
over 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
It's a long one.
This was an ode to the goddess of the hearth, and it was about the lockdown period. She said, when we're all stuck at home. It's a little faster. I really like the groove on this.
Yeah,
Matt. I thought it was a straight 4/4. Which was probably the only one I could actually like follow and say, okay, we're in 4/4 instead of something who knows what. I liked that it was laden with these offbeats and counter rhythms. The drummer starts doing some wicked stuff about a minute in. And I love how what he's doing corresponds to what she's doing on the sax. And there's a certain weightlessness from it. I'd say the mood here is kind of like floating through the clouds on a nice, all
right,
chill Elon Musk rocket. I don't know.
Yeah, on this one, so basically the sax, bass, drums, guitar, they all pretty much hit one time at mid-tempo. I like the guitar. It provides, I thought, like a cinematic foundation for Tineke to play over and exchange back and forth. And there's a lot of tension I thought created there. And there's some really nice breaks that caught my attention. And I thought she had some beautiful solos here that bring back the tension.
That's right.
And then there's some intense bass lines going on as well. And I think the drums, like you were saying, it kind of drives this one along. And then again, you have the distorted guitar solos. And then at the end, it kind of gets, again, I thought a bit chaotic because it appears that there's going to be kind of a resolve at the end that they're kind of coming back to. Yeah. And then the guitar and the sax kind of close with this chaotic exchange, kind of almost a chaotic flurry at the end. So that's kind of what caught me. I thought it was kind of more of a busy workday kind of vibe feel.
Right.
For me. Well, it wasn't quite as...
I love the shifting tone and theme of these because it does have a lot of warmth to it at the same time.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of harmony in it. But then there's these breaks where we descend into chaos. We descend into the unknown. But I love how it's structured and it always comes back.
And I think that's one thing to point out is the tension. You don't get that in rock music usually. Usually you got it straight.
It's not such a build-up.
It's not.
Right. They really let it go.
All right. 3 more songs. Mysterious Duty, 5.5 minutes.
all I said on this was just light, melodic, chill. Give me a sangria and let me lay back, put my feet up.
So the mood on this one was dust coming in off the ocean as a storm approaches. That's what I got.
Yeah.
And again, you got this introspective exchange, mellow back and forth between the sax and the guitar. So I enjoyed that one.
Leaning into the afternoon. I had the same, the notes are similar. It's just chill, laying back, putting the feet up, maybe sipping on a Chardonnay or something light.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't a red wine song, I don't think.
No,
It's something light, you know.
You got the clean guitar here that paints a picture. You have soft splashing chords. The sax rides on top of the bed. It's a mellow tune where the drums and the bass are kind of low key. The mood I got was an afternoon at the coffee shop downtown watching people stroll by.
Perfectly. Perfectly. Love these, man.
And the last one,
Loft.
just over 3 minutes long, closing out the album.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think this was kind of a dark one.
It was,
Slow.
but I found it quite relaxing. And it had its suspenseful moments. There was always a sense of what's around the corner, what's coming next.
Yeah.
In which case it was Tineke, and she was bringing her incredible sax on this journey of self-reflection across the universe divide.
Yeah, so mine,
Something like
I got
that.
this one was a feeling of suspense, as Greg said. The sax runs create tension. But I thought the mood I got on this one was like you're exploring an unknown planet on Star Trek, like this exploration, you know.
Beam me up, Scott.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Kind of. So you got self-reflection and across the universe. I guess we're kind of on the same wavelength there.
It's deep music, ladies
It
and
is.
gentlemen. It's very deep. It's it forces you to go in, which I like. I mean, most of the music we like, it's straight ahead, it swings. This music reflects. I'd be curious, Matt, if how these musicians, if they did like a standard, how they would swing.
Well, that's true.
And I bet they could. I bet they really
I
can.
think so, dude.
what it is they've found something in this music that just pushes them to the limits of their talents. They've gone in this direction and they love it. They find new things in it. They find new ways to break through. But I bet when they get together and
they could still swing the standards.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is I bet because a lot of people are kind of put off by this kind of modern music, but a lot of people were put off by Charlie Parker and Dizzy when they started playing.
Yeah.
A lot of the old guys were
right.
like, "What the heck is this? What are you guys doing with all this crazy, all this stuff?" They were like, "This is too much."
Yeah.
So, and I think that's kind of what this is. That kind of a step up to this next, or however you want to say it, a step to a different level.
Yeah, they're definitely keeping jazz moving forward.
Yep.
So we love it. We recommend it, man.
We've
I'd
got
say
more
2
coming.
thumbs up, and there will be more coming.
We got a lot of new reviews coming up. A lot of new, and they're all going to be pretty much new within the last few years, at least, if not very recent. They're all going to be new releases that we're going to focus on. So,
yes. Thanks for joining us.
all right, take care. Bye bye.
All right.